Hey, it's Jeff again, and welcome back to another edition of Milsurp Rifle with Treeline Sports. And today we're going to be going over the SKS. The SKS was developed by Russia back in 1945. It's a short-stroke gas-operated weapon, and it shoots a 7.62 by 39 cartridge. Before you get further into our video, please pause, like, and subscribe to our channel. It certainly helps with our channel and helps produce these type of videos, and we do appreciate your comments, both good or bad. We try to get back to everybody. If you have any questions, want to see anything up close, don't hesitate to ask. We usually get back the same day or sooner. Now, this gun was designed by Sergei Semenov, and again, it was developed in 1945, and it shoots a 7.62 by 39 cartridge. It's a shorter cartridge than, say, the 9130 cartridge using a 7.62 by 54R round. However, this gun does give an effective range out to about 400 yards. It did go on to use in other countries, actually more so than it did in Russia. This gun actually had two, and it was produced by the Tula factory in Russia, and this gun produced about 2.5 million rifles out of Russia. We have two Russian rifles for you today, as well as we have a Type 56 SKS made out of China, and we'll go into the differences of each of those weapons as well. But know that Russia did have the original contract and did come up with the design for the SKS, even though they didn't use it. The AK-47 quickly took its place and was adopted as the main battle rifle for Russian troops in about the mid-50s. So SKS had a short-lived life. Maybe in some obscure troop departments they did use the SKS, but I would stress obscure. But anyway, let's get into the differences, and thank you for watching. So I'm going to bring up close one of the Russian rifles that we brought for you today, so you can get a close look at it. So here we have a Russian-made SKS, and you can tell right out of the gate, if you're looking for a Russian SKS, it'll have a star, and that's the Tula factory cartouche. This particular one has a laminated stock. Now, not all the Russians did have a laminated stock, but I believe that if you find a laminated stock, that is a Russian SKS. Also, there are cartouches throughout. You'll have serial numbers, and if you're going to buy one of these, again, just like any other Milsurp gun, try and get an all match where all the serial numbers match the receiver. These actually did put serial numbers on the stock, and you'll find cartouches all over the place of the Tula factory on this gun. Now, this gun uses what's referred to as a tangent sight. This is its rear sight, and it does have an elevator on it where you simply squeeze the two sides and move it forward, and that does allow the rear sight to come up, giving you the ability to take an accurate shot at a distance. The front sight is always a hooded sight, and you'll see it's just a pin on the front sight, and it has an adjustment for elevation as well. So you can fine-tune your elevation, as well as you can tune in your elevation using your tangent rear sight, which, by the way, has notches marked out in meters where it would stop. But if you really want to fine-tune, you can do so with the front sight. Now, there really is no windage adjustment. However, I do have a tool that'll help you do that. Now, this is a SKS sight adjustment tool. It's actually also used for the AK-47, and you can find these online. Certainly Treeline Sports has an SKS or an AK-47 sight adjustment tool. They are exactly the same tool. And what you'll see on the back of the tool right here is a notch, and what that'll do, that'll go right over the front sight, and you can turn it and thusly raise the front sight pin up and down, allowing you to adjust for elevation. Now, the windage is this C-clamp, and with this, you put this in. Let me bring the gun up. you'll see a pin right here. And using that C-clamp, you can drift your front sight left to right, which will give you a windage adjustment. So know that you can adjust your windage if you have that tool. It wouldn't have been issued to troops. These were pretty much dialed in at the factory, at least for good enough for government work type sights. Now, the other thing that the SKS does have is a trap door in the rear stock. And in the rear stock, if I can get it out, is the cleaning kit. Now, you may or may not find this in your gun, but again, an item, if you don't have it, I would say get it. It kind of adds to the collectability of the gun. And it comes in a steel compartment tube, and you simply undo the tube, and inside here is a brush, an oiler, a patch eye, and so forth that you use for the cleaning rod, this being your cleaning rod. So all these parts will screw into the cleaning rod, and with you, you have your cleaning rod and your cleaning kit. So pretty neat. I'm going to put it back. This door is spring assisted, so it's under a little bit of pressure. If the cleaning equipment is in there, you'll have to push relatively hard to get it out, but it does pop out pretty easy. Now, this is a blade bayonet. The Chinese Type 56s did have a spike bayonet, but most of the Russians that I've ever seen, I've never seen a Russian with a spike. Could be out there, don't know. But most all of them you'll find to have a blade bayonet. And we'll go over disassembly on this gun. One thing I would urge you guys, if you pick one of these SKSs up, and it is a Chinese model, please, please, please disassemble this gun entirely. These were packed with cosmoline, and that can really screw up your firing pin system. So you want to take this apart, you want to clean it, and we'll go over that so that you guys can see how to do that, as well as your gas tube. This tube right here, I've had it, and there's a plunger in here. I've had it where that thing was like a grease gun when I got it out, just caked with cosmoline, as well as the barrel. So guys, be careful when shooting these. If you pick up a gun at, say, a gun show or somewhere, make sure that you go through it and clean it well. Cosmoline also is a sticky material, and I would urge you in those cases wear gloves. I don't usually wear gloves when I'm cleaning my rifles, but if you have one of these and it's caked with cosmoline, put on some gloves. Anyway, just thought I'd go over that with you. Now, the SKS shoots a 7.62 by 39 cartridge. You'll find it in 10-round loaded magazines like this, or stripper clips, and you can simply put this in the gun and thumb all 10 rounds in. You can load the gun without this. You can thumb 10 rounds in one at a time, but hey, another item I'd tell you, go get one of these, because you can carry a bunch of these, and that goes into what I have on today. This is an SKS Chinese ammo pouch, and you would simply put, I think this will hold 3 stripper clips, so 30 rounds of ammo in each, in each little container, and then pull it out, and then you could feed your weapon. So that's what this is, and that's what it's all about. If you see one of these at a gun show and you have an SKS, hey, great item to have, specifically made for your SKS. So just thought I'd go over what the heck that was. Now, some of the things you'll notice when you start to get into these, there's a Yugo model that has almost, it's like a flash suppressor on the front. That is actually for a grenade launcher. That's what that thick tube is that sits on there. I don't have one of those today, but I just thought I'd bring it up because there are Yugoslavian models out there of SKSs, and they look nothing like at the front as to what I brought. The other one, the most common, is the Chinese SKS, or the Type 56, and of course the Russian-made SKS. What are the differences, and why are they so expensive? What's the difference in price? Well, first of all, there was only 2 million Russians produced, and are they better than the Chinese? I would say not really. They have advantages, certain advantages. Most of the Russian, all the Russian SKSs, the end of the barrel was threaded in, so it's a very tight barrel to receiver fit. Some of the Chinese later in the, and I don't know the time frame, probably in the 60s, I'm assuming, they did pin the barrels, so it wasn't actually threaded in, and it's just a faster way of doing it. It didn't make the gun any less accurate, but threads are better. However, the Chinese did make some improvements. You'll find a lot of the Chinese models, SKSs, are chrome lined. And remember, this 7.62 by 39, which is typically you'll find is a steel case ammo, can be corrosive. So making that barrel chrome lined helped a lot with improving the overall use of the firearm, because if you don't clean your gun and you're using corrosive ammo, it will eat your bore and make the gun less accurate. So it's, you know, which one's better? I would say there really isn't one better. Collectability wise, obviously the Russian SKS is going to have a higher value, as well as more collectability. But if you're going to go out and shoot, grab yourself a Chinese. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And they're going up in price, so nothing wrong with these. And as I tell you guys, anytime you find a milsurp gun, you want to get it, get it. Don't wait. They're not making these anymore. And these particular rifles are phenomenal shooters. They are a short stroke, they are a short stroke gas operated weapon, and piston driven. So just a phenomenal design. Great gun. It just doesn't carry a whole lot of rounds. Now let's go over loading, unloading, and shooting the rifle. Now, the first thing I'm going to emphasize to you is the safety. The safety on this gun is really simple. You can't go wrong. It's a mechanical safety. It actually blocks the trigger. And here you can see I've engaged it. I'll turn it this way so you can see it. And then to take the safety off, unblock it. So safety on, block, can't fire it. Safety off, this gun is empty. There's no rounds in the chamber, so forth and so on. I pull it, gun would have went off. So anyway, that's how you operate the safety. The second one, the second step, the second thing I'll go over with you is loading the firearm. So this is your bolt, and we simply pull this all the way back, and you'll see it stays open. There's a follower in here that keeps the bolt back, and that'll allow you to put your stripper clip in. Stripper clips will hold 10 rounds. So we've got our bolt open. We take our 10 rounds, which are on a stripper clip, and we feed them into this notch right here. Okay, and that, you see the 10 rounds stacked. They're inside the, right on the bolt head, and then we simply thumb them in. So all 10 rounds are in. You could do it a lot faster. You know, a little grease maybe help me a little bit. Anyway, 10 rounds are in, and then simply pull back on the bolt, and you now have a loaded weapon in your hands. Now, let's suppose we want to unload the gun and we don't want to rack it 10 times. Well, they give you a trap door. That's what this is. It's a magazine, and it's on a hinge at the top. So what we do is you pull this down, and all 10 rounds, well, 9 rounds, jump out of the magazine. So we are empty, except we do have a round in the chamber. So don't forget that. Pull that out. Now you're totally empty. So all 10 rounds are out. That's how you unload the weapon. Now, one of the other differences between the Russian made, and this is the Chinese made, the Chinese had a free-floating firing pin in there, which again, I want to stress to you to clean that, because cosmoline can cause slam fires if it's packed into that free-floating firing pin. Whereas the Russian has a spring-assisted firing pin. The Russian also had a 2-piece part gas system. Chinese had a single-piece part gas system. But know that the Russians actually assisted the Chinese when making these. They actually helped them set up the plant in China to develop these weapons. But China made 20 million of these. So chances are you're going to find a Chinese gun way before you're going to find a Russian gun. Not to say that they excuse me, not to say that they aren't out there. They are, but they are more expensive. Now let's talk a little bit about the bayonet. So on this one we have a Chinese spike bayonet. Now how the heck do you get that up or affixed? It's already to the gun. Well, it's on a little hinge here, and what you're going to do, you simply pull down and see that it's spring loaded. So I pull down, pull it away, and then you simply slap it into place, and there you are, ready for bayonet action. Anyway, that's how you work your bayonet. It's nice that it's always on the gun. It didn't serve any other purpose that I'm aware of other than the fact that it was a bayonet, but it's always attached to the gun. You can't take it off. Now we're going to take it back down. You simply lift up, swings away, clicks into place. That simple. So that's how you work the bayonet. And that's really it, guys. Let's go shoot, have some fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and let's have some fun. Now, the 7.62 by 39 round, typically you'll find in brass case. Sometimes you'll see them shiny like this, which is kind of a lacquer finish. Sometimes it'll just be regular steel, and you can buy brass 7.62 by 39. I would say personally just get the steel. It's up to you, but if you're going to reload, brass is the way to go, obviously. But these are not that expensive. They're still relatively inexpensive to shoot, and you can get soft tip, as well as what we have today are hollow point, just a cavity, hollow point 7.62 by 39. Most of them are full metal jacket. Now be careful, some of them do have a steel core here, so if you're going to shoot an indoor range, make sure you don't use steel core ammo. The range probably won't like that. And the easiest way to check that is just get a magnet and see if it sticks to the head. If it sticks, up to you. Check with the range first, but be careful shooting anything steel core because it can over penetrate. So just know that as well. Anyway, let's go shoot. Now, as I always like to tell you guys, before you shoot any weapon, whether it be milsurp or new, always have your eyes on your ears, meaning your hearing protection as well as your eye protection. Put them on before shooting, as well as know where you're shooting at, what you're aiming at, what's going to stop that round, and what is behind you, and that way nobody gets hurt. Anyway, let's have some fun. Okay, eyes on, ears on. Eyes on, ears on, and we're going to shoot the Chinese SKS first and see how that does. Going to go ahead and load it up, 10 rounds. I'm going to start off with the hollow point rounds, and these are just Eastern Bloc ammo. I'm not even sure what country they came from, but nothing fancy. You can find them at your local gun shop or the gun show. 7.62 by 39 is just about everywhere. On hot. Let's get some. Safety's off. Well, not too bad. I think I was shooting a little high. Took out one in the beginning, but the rest were flyers. Okay, I've reloaded my clip, or my stripper clip, and I've put in regular full metal jacket stuff. Let's see how that does. Ten rounds. Going hot. Treeline Sports, the SKS, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to our channel. We got more to go, plenty of stuff coming. We are going to be getting in the new firearms, so we'd love to have you. Thank you again for watching.